Assalamualaikum and good morning. So today I'm gonna discuss about the human lymphatic system a bit. In our body, there is a system which is closely related to our blood circulatory system called the lymphatic system. Before we dive in, let me explain something which is important for the formation of lymph, namely the tissue fluid. How can tissue fluid be formed? When the oxygenated blood is pumped, the pressure of the blood becomes high. This is because of the small size of lumen in the artery and the contraction of the left ventricle of our heart. When the blood reaches the artery end, this pressure allows the blood plasma to diffuse continuously from blood capillaries into the intercellular space. When the blood plasma occupies the intercellular space, it automatically called the tissue fluid. This fluid does not contain erythrocyte, which is red blood cell, the platelets and plasma protein, because these particles are too large to diffuse out of the blood capillaries, so they will just stay in the capillary. Tissue fluid allows the exchange of materials in blood and cells to occur, so nutrients and oxygen diffuses from the tissue fluid to body cells. At the same time, waste products and carbon dioxide diffuse from body cell to blood capillary through the tissue fluid. With that being said, let's talk about the formation of lymph and the components of the lymphatic system. At the ventral end of the blood capillary, blood plasma is hypotonic when compared to the tissue fluid. As a result, the reabsorption of water, mineral salts, and waste can take place in the ventral capillary, but only 85% of the tissue fluid diffuses back into the ventral end. So, what happens to the other 50% in the intercellular space? The lost fluid is actually collected and returned to blood through lymphatic capillary, which is a part of the lymphatic system and also the smallest vessel of the lymphatic system. This fluid will be called lymph and it is pale yellow in color. The lymph has differences and similarities when compared to the tissue fluid, and when we compare the lymph and tissue fluid, it is found that their similarities is the presence of the plasma without plasma proteins, erythrocytes and platelets. Because as I explained before, these particles are too big to diffuse into the intracellular space. The differences between these two are that the lymph has higher content of fat and fat-soluble substances and higher content of lymphocytes compared to tissue fluid, which has lower content of fat, fat-soluble substances and lymphocytes. When lymph and blood are compared, they both contain all the contents of plasma like nutrients, hormones, enzymes, cellular waste, respiratory gases, and leukocytes. The differences is that lymph do not contain plasma protein, erythrocytes, and platelet because it is too big, as I mentioned before. While the blood has these plasma proteins, erythrocytes, and platelets. The lymphatic capillary is actually quite similar to blood capillary, which is one cytic wall. But the differences is that the lymphatic capillary, one of the lymphatic capillaries end is actually blocked, while the other end is connected to the lymphatic vessel. The lymphatic capillaries, which is found in intercellular spaces, will merge to other lymphatic capillaries to form larger lymphatic vessel.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hari ini saya nak kongsikan pasal relationship between the blood circulatory and the lymphatic system. Okay, apa yang kena tahu pasal lymphatic system ni? Dia terbahagi kepada 6 main part organ. Yang pertama, lymph node. Ini. Yang kedua, spleen. Yang ketiga thymus gland. Yang keempat bone marrow. Yang kelima tonsils. Yang keenam appendix. Lepas tu kan geng, semua lymphatic vessel ni dia akan join one of the main lymphatic vessel, iaitu thoracic duct and right lymphatic duct. Apa yang kita kena tahulah pasal lymphatic system ni, apa yang berlaku dekat lymphatic system ni. The right lymphatic duct, dia receive lymph from the right hand, chest and right side of the head and neck. Lepas tu ni apa? Lepas tu kan geng, the thoracic duct ni dia receive lymph from the left side of the head, neck and chest and all the body parts below the ribs.
Hello and Assalamualaikum. My name is Aida Ajana from 4 Ibn Rushd. So today I will be continuing on the relationship between lymphatic system and blood circulatory system, necessities of lymphatic system, and also 10.8 health issues related to the human lymphatic system. So, what are we waiting for? Let's go learn new things. Relationship between lymphatic system and blood circulatory system. So, let's draw for better understanding for this topic. So, first of all, thoracic duct delivers its content into the left subclavian vein. While the right lymphatic duct transports lymph into the right subclavian vein. So, the lymph collected from the whole body will flow back into the blood circulatory system. Then, our completed drawing shows the relationship between the lymphatic system and blood circulatory system. So you can refer to the picture on the right. Next, we are going to talk about the necessities of the lymphatic system. So first of all, the lymphatic system complements the blood circulatory system. This is because excess tissue fluids are returned by lymphatic system into the blood flow. Composition, pressure and volume of blood are maintained at a normal range. Second, body defense. Lymph nodes produces and stores lymphocytes. Why is it related to body defense? Because lymphocytes are involved in production of antibodies. So, the last necessity is transportation of fat-soluble substances. Why? Fat-soluble substances diffuse into lacteal, which is lymphatic capillaries, and are transported to thoracic duct and blood circulatory system through left subclavian vein. Our last topic is health issues related to human lymphatic system. So, have you ever wondered what will happen if my lymphatic system doesn't function properly? Or what will happen if excess tissue fluid is not returned to the blood flow? Or maybe how our tissue fluid that doesn't return to the blood flow will cause swelling of the body tissues? I wonder why. This is because it will accumulate in the intercellular space and also cause oedema. So, what are the causes of oedema? So, we will move on to our next topic, causes of oedema. The first cause is pregnancy. Pregnant woman's body will produce more body fluid to fulfill the need of the fetus. The second cause of oedema is deficiency in plasma protein. Oedema can be caused by a deficiency of albumin in the blood. Next, prolonged bedridden patients. Paralyzed or stroke patients with limited mobility can suffer from oedema. As you can see, the picture drawn shows the difference of a normal leg and a leg that suffers from oedema. The last cause of oedema is parasitic infection. Parasite worms such as Brugia infects the lymphatic vessel and prevents blood flow of lymphatic fluid. On the drawn picture, you can see that the leg is swollen, and this is because the patient suffers from lymphatic filariasis. For your information, Brugia is transmitted through mosquito bites. So that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.